What's happening, fight fans? This is the Encyclopedia George Kennebrew here for MMA Mayhem TV. We are here at the IMMAF tournament here at the Las Vegas Convention Center. This interview is being brought to you by Alpha Male TRT. Now, like I said before, you never know who you're gonna run into at these type of things. I mean, we went from Shorty Torres, the Titan FC fighter, to the president. This is the boss. This is the guy that makes everything go here at the IMMAF tournament, Mr. Kerrith Brown. Mr. Brown, how you doing on today?
I'm doing fine. It's fantastic to be in Vegas. This is my second time back, and for me, I'm really excited because this is the biggest amateur event in 2016, and we're right in the heart of Vegas in UFC 200 week. So it's been an exciting start, and really just looking forward to the rest of the competition with the athletes that are performing here this week.
Now, just talk about the growth a little bit of this tournament, and just talk about just the platform that you guys are giving these kids, because I was talking with a fighter earlier today, and I was saying that a couple of years ago, I didn't even hear about anything like this, and for you to, and the rest of your team to organize such a prestigious event as this, I mean, this is really, really major.
I mean, this is big. I mean, this has been a commentary of over the last few years that we've been developing. So, IMMAF was started in 2012. It was started by August Wallen and George Selford, and their idea was that they had to look at the regulations around the sport of MMA. And the problem that they had in Sweden was that it was going to get banned, so they had to get some form of regulatory support in terms of making sure that the sport didn't get banned. Having said that, the attitude was that they needed some support. They spoke to UFC. UFC understood, and you know, that was the birth of IMMAF in terms of getting off the ground. Now, come forward 2016. What's IMMAF about? Well, it's about recognition and regulation. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's about having the athletes' safety, which is paramount. And our job really is to make sure that the growth of the sport, and not only of the sport but of MMA, is starting from the grassroots. Now, a lot of people have been looking at MMA from the top. You know, you look at UFC, who've done a fantastic job. You know, they're the ones that have set the bale trays in MMA. But what's happening? Let's have a look what's happening on the grassroots. And our job is to do that, is to look at what's developing from the ground upwards. And our job is to look at the sport and developing the recognition for it, and the grassroots developing in terms of regulation. So when we say about regulation, we're looking about, you know, what is the equipment, you know, are they using 4-ounce gloves? Now we're using 7-ounce gloves. We look at the technical aspect of what the fighters are wearing, and not only that, we look at the referee structures, the cutman structure. So right now we have an A and B C system which looks after the referees on an international level, that they go through a particular course. So when you look at that, you know, we're starting to put a lot of governance around the sport, really to give it some recognition. So when people, from politicians, look at it, they understand that there's a lot of work that's been done from the grassroots. Currently, right now, we have 63 national federations globally. Wow. And we are growing. By the end of the year, we look to have 85. Of those 63, 23 of them are recognized by their own National Olympic Committee, or recognized by their own sports minister. So we've been doing a hell of a lot of work, and really it's about the transition of the athletes. When you look at the athletes developing under our structures, this is a competition over 5 days. You have to win 5 matches in order to win the World Championship. Right. Now, you look at that, 5 matches in a week. Mm-hmm. Now, most professional athletes that make the transition from amateur and pro, you know, will go 3-0 or 5-0, and then go pro. Yeah. You know, these guys, we want them to stay longer as amateurs, so we want a situation where you get a Josie Torres that defends the World Championship twice and then goes pro, but he's had over 50 fights as an amateur. You know, if he loses, it doesn't matter. But when he makes that transition into a professional athlete, you got one hell of a fighter that's fully all-round, developed in every field and in every aspect, technically, in terms of what he does.
Now, it's funny that you were talking about recognition and regulation and really letting these kids hone their craft, so when they get to that next level, they will be pretty prepared. At the end of the day, when you see that happen, when you see these kids finally get their opportunity to go into these big shows, is there a sense of satisfaction and a gratification that you have, like when you go home at night and you be like, wow, like I had a hand in that. I had some sort of responsibility in helping that young man or that young lady achieve their dreams?
Oh, definitely. I feel very proud. I mean, I have to say that, you know, coming here today and looking at the levels, and, you know, I say this again, from 2014, 2015 to 2016, you know, the levels and the technical delivery of these athletes are going through the roof. Do you know what I mean? So for me, when we look at it as a body, as a board, you know, we're very proud. You know, we've done a lot of work in terms of getting that development, getting it right in terms of that regulation. And it's about, you know, we want people to recognise that the work that we're doing in terms of the sport for the amateur. So, you know, the top meets the bottom. Yeah. And at the moment, it's a pyramid that's upside down at the moment. And we've got to change that so we get a pyramid that goes that way rather than down the other way. So for us to do that, you know, I'm very proud. I'm a very proud president to be part of this. It's part of the journey to work with the core sports to make sure that you know, we represent in all areas. You know, it's not just about the top athletes. It's about the grassroots athletes that are coming from the ground, that understand about nutrition, that understand about anti-doping, that understand about the technical aspects of that. So they're physically, mentally prepared for that transition.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. He said regulation and regulation. Give it to me one more time.
And recognition.
Recognition, regulation and recognition. That is what Mr. Brown is all about. And he is certainly doing a fantastic job here at IMMAF 2016. This interview has been brought to you by Alpha Male TRT. I'm the Encyclopedia. That's the Prez. And the page has been turned.